Housewives of Atlanta. I know I have not recapped the last episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, but y'all, shit, I just watched that shit literally at the same time as this video is finna come out. So I had to catch up, hadn't had the opportunity to watch the last episode, and to be completely honest, I saw the last episode and this shit was boring as fuck. Really nothing to write home about. They fucking killed a cockroach. That was the gist of the entire episode, alright? So the real episode and the real shit's going on, I guess, in this particular episode. I don't know how many episodes of this shit is left, but y'all, they still have a whole hell of a lot of shit to get to. Y'all know when I do these recaps, I watch it at the same time as I'm recapping, so I do little chunks at a time, so you get to see all my reactions and all that shit as I watch the show. But I did watch the last episode. It wasn't even worth recapping. Shit, the motherfucking bitches killed the damn bug. That was the most of it. There was a whole lot of boo-hooing, whole lot of extra emotion that was absolutely unnecessary. Nene decided to go in for some whatever bullshit. She just felt like doing some shit, and that was the gist of the entire episode. So, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this shit right here. Alright, first up, we got Kenya and Miss Lawrence. They're sitting down, meeting for lunch or whatever the fuck, Kenya loves her some po' boys, I promise. Every time she goes to a restaurant, she eating either a salmon po' boy or a shrimp po' boy or whatever the fuck boy, but either way, they sitting down having some lunch or whatever they about to have, and they chit-chatting about whatever happened in Savannah or whatever the fuck she called it. She called it some other damn name. I don't remember what the fuck it was. Either way, they were sitting there talking or whatever, and I guess, she's trying to update, Miss Lawrence on everything that went down with the whole Chuck situation, real briefly discussed that or whatever. And I guess, Miss Lawrence was talking about her hair and how she, he was loving her hair and everything. And she felt like, saying that she had gotten her inspiration from Beyonce from Super Bowl or whatever the fuck. I was like, bitch, really? Can you just get off Beyonce, bitch? You are nowhere near Beyonce. You are lucky as fuck to have the hair that you do, because most of the hair y'all see is her hair. She really does have all that damn hair. She might put some clip-ins or extensions or whatever the fuck, but she's got amazing hair, y'all. But bitch, to compare yourself to Beyonce, bitch, try again. Next up, we go to another restaurant because I guess supposedly Mr. Chuck, that would be Monique's husband right now, he done called Nene and Phaedra out all of a sudden out the clear damn blue sky, to try to meet up or link up for lunch. And I know Phaedra was talking about, I think that's kind of weird. I had to question myself a little bit when, when he asked us to go to lunch, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And Nene even questioned it too. And shit, hell, I watched it and questioned it my damn self. When Monique got back, she had a whole hell of a lot to say to Chuck. And I'm sure Chuck has another real reason for which he wanted to get them two bitches together. So we gonna see about that shit. So they sit down, they're having, little conversations, talking about, high school, because, the three of them done went to the same high school in Athens or whatever. And so, they're having little conversations. They decide to get a little shot going, have a little drinky poo. They try to decide who's gonna pay for the bill because Chuck supposedly paid or whatever the fuck. They reminiscing and shit. And, Chuck's looking a little suspect. He looking at Phaedra like, bitch, I got you. Like, y'all, I don't know if y'all noticed that shit. He was like... Now, y'all know this motherfucker had another agenda, for bringing them two motherfuckers together. But, he gonna try to mask this shit with some shit about some boys and girls club because they all from Athens and they all done went to the same high school or whatever. So he was like...
Now look, y'all. I love y'all to death, but y'all, we can't forget where we from, y'all. We can't forget about Athens. I would love for y'all to come back and speak to the young boys and girls of Athens.
So right now, okay, it seems like everything's kind of normal right now, but like I said, I truly believe there was an ulterior motive to his black ass getting them two bitches together. So next scene is with Cynthia and her sister, Mallory, right? Now y'all know we haven't seen that bitch in a minute and a half, and neither has Cynthia. According to Cynthia's ass, the last time she done for real seen her was at her, like for real seen her like for a prolonged period of time. Last time she done stayed with them or whatever, I guess, was when she had her anniversary party. And that was when Mallory acted a damn fool, so they showed the little recap of that, a little rehashing of that shit. So they're at the bead stove trying to shoot the shit, and there's obviously a little bit of tension going on between the two of them. So Cynthia is, trying to talk to Mallory, trying to ask her what her intentions are, whatever, because, her husband, I guess, is overseas doing some shit, and she's supposed to stay back a couple of months. Turns out, when she's staying back, she's gonna be staying with Cynthia, which y'all already know is gonna be a hot-ass motherfucking mess. So that's been established. Now she's gonna be staying with Cynthia's ass, right? And they start talking, and you could tell Mallory, as much as she's trying to, pacify things with Cynthia, you also know she was also trying to get in her damn business. So she's trying to make sure that Cynthia's okay with her now and that their relationship's gotten better. But she also done said that Cynthia done changed, that the relationship between the two of them ain't the same since that whole situation with Peter or whatever, but that they want to work on the shit. And of course, Cynthia, you could tell that Cynthia was treading lightly, very carefully, because she's a little untrusting of her sister, rightfully so, considering whatever the fuck done happened at the wedding and the anniversary party and all the other bullshit that happened between all of them and Peter, right? So y'all could tell Mallory had some other shit going on when she was trying to ask her, how things were going with her and Peter. Now Cynthia decides to say, okay, please, without judgment, I'm finna tell you, this man, he wants to fuck all the time. I mean, she didn't say those words, but that was the gist of it, is this motherfucker wants to fuck all the time after I done worked all day, worked my fingers to the bone, dealt with Noelle and whatever the fuck, and now he wants to go ahead and smash. He wants to hit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm tired half the time. Of course, Mallory's sitting there talking about, I can't see this bitch doing this shit. She talking about that, her shit at home, she ain't got no problem with doing it every day. It's when her husband wants to do it 2-3 times a day, she got a problem. I'm like, ew, I don't want to see that shit, nor do I want to visualize it. No. Okay. So, as she's talking to Cynthia and Cynthia's talking to her about that shit, now here goes Mallory talking about, I know there's something else going on. I feel like there's something else going on between the two of y'all, trying to delve into some other shit. And of course, Cynthia falls for the trap and starts talking about what's going on with her and Peter. So Cynthia talks about the fact that she still hasn't really truly let go of the financial strife issue, whatever, that she had with Peter a while back, and that she's very fearful of the fact that she might go back there where they had some financial difficulty, and she doesn't want to have any problems being able to take care of her daughter, take care of the family, the household, or whatever. She doesn't want to go back there. So of course, Mallory, she's chomping at the bit, just ready to absorb that little bit of information. And of course, Mallory's like, that just might be the root of your problem, or whatever. That could be the reason, and that's what's probably translated into the bedroom. I'm like, bitch, don't think you slick, motherfucker. I know what the fuck you trying to do. So we at the dog store with Portia and her mama, right? And they're sitting there looking around for Portia's little doggies clothing or whatever the fuck, and they sitting there talking, and her mama's been coddling the fuck out of her. I mean, the bitch is in her 30s, still now living with her mama, which is no problem considering the fact that she's about to go, she's going through a divorce, and obviously, she had to move out of her house she shared with her husband. That's what happens. But I guess her mama was getting a little too used to it, okay? So now Portia decides to break it to her that she done found a place that she's ready to spread her wings and fly and be on my own. We're at the salon with Derek J, Mama Joyce, and Candy's ass, right? So Candy comes in. I guess she's asking her mama how things are going or whatever. It turns out, Mama Joyce is getting her hair done to go out with the girls, which you already know. The girls are probably the goons she done had at the fitting, the fitting room or whatever. So they sit there and they're chitting chatting, and Derek asks how Candy's doing and what Candy's up to. And of course, Candy's got all kinds of shit on her plate. She was like,
I got a million things going on. I've been in the studio and I've also been working on a musical.
So she explains that the premise of the whole storyline of this play or whatever is that, she's in a girl group, and then I guess she's dating some guy who hasn't really come up, but he's on the come up, but hasn't come up yet, and that the mama don't really like the, the dude that she's dating or whatever, but at the end there's a happy ending or whatever. Y'all know she always tries to base a lot of what she writes, which a lot of people do, on her current life. So that's what basically she's trying to do with this musical. So I'm tripping on the fact that after all this shit is said and done, so Derek J, he goes and runs off and picks up a phone call that didn't ring, okay? And he runs off and leaves the two of them alone. Of course, Mama Joyce is sitting there, and I had a funny feeling her ass was gonna go into this type of shit. For some reason, I felt like she was gonna pull the health card, which is exactly what the fuck she was trying to do. She talking about, this has to change, and I need to do this for me. I need to stay out your shit for me and my health, because your life is your life and my life is mine. And I done went to the doctor, and the doctor done told me that, it's just better for my health if I just, let this go. And of course, Candy's all nervous and worried or whatever for a second, but realizes, of course, very quickly that Mama Joyce is trying to exaggerate whatever the fuck bullshit is. But what I find so funny is she's sitting here talking about how, she feels as though somebody else, i.e. Candy, chose him over her, that she chose someone else over her. Meanwhile, she getting her hair done by Derek J. I'm like, bitch, I know whatever money you got right now probably ain't able to afford Derek J. I'm sure Candy's sponsoring that shit too. So I don't see nothing changing for you at all whatsoever from a monetary perspective. I mean, whatever. So anyway, they sit there. She's talking about how she done went to the doctor and blah, blah, blah. And, Candy's kind of rolling her eyes like, okay, I know you trying to pull this health card, but whatever. Let's move on. So we're in the car with Chuck, Phaedra, and Nene, and they're heading out to Athens, heading out to Athens, I believe, is when they were going out there for whatever reason, whether it was Boys and Girls Club. I didn't really catch it. Didn't really give a fuck no way. Because I really wanted to get to the part that I saw in the preview last week. So I've been just kind of waiting anxiously for that shit to happen. But anyway, they went to Dairy Queen, which is where everybody hangs out or whatever. Had a little reminiscing time or whatever. I guess Phaedra done realized that Nene done really knew who she was. So I know y'all know. In a reunion previous to this, maybe about a season or two ago, Nene claimed to have not known who the fuck Phaedra was. And now, through reminiscing and shit, it seems to me that she actually knew who Phaedra was throughout high school or whatever. But anyway, I guess they had a little time to reminisce. I guess Phaedra had a high booty, Nene had some long ass legs, and y'all saw them pictures. I don't need to say shit else. And that was really about it. So we move on to the next scene. So the next scene is Portia, her sister, her mama, and her brother, and she takes them over to the cribbo to show her new house, okay? Her new house is absolutely drop dead damn gorgeous, but the shit is 8,000 square feet. Y'all saw that shit off the daggone chain, but is alimony or support or whatever the fuck that she's gonna get gonna be enough of that shit? And does she even know how much she's truly supposed to get? I know she's getting some now, but at this point they were not, their divorce wasn't final. So I know, just based on, just from what I've read and shit, she didn't really have a set dollar amount in stone at that very moment of how much she was supposed to be getting paid monthly for support. So what I'm trying to figure out is how the fuck did she figure she could afford this shit? Now, granted, I haven't heard no reports of her being behind in rent, Kenya, but at least I can say with certainty that she don't need all that damn house. But anyway, so the bitch go walk in with her sister, the rest of the family was finna come a little later, and she walks up in the house like, welcome to my humble abode. Then her mama comes all up in there with her brother and stuff. She's walking around the house showing them the whole thing, and I mean, it's drop dead gorgeous. I'm being real. The shit's tight. I'm very proud that she's finally trying to move out and do her own thing. 8,000 square feet. I pray to God she can afford that shit. I mean, I know Cordell was making a little bit of money. I just don't know what kind of, support she's trying to get or what support she got or whatever the fuck. Either way, I think her family has money. Her mama has money, so I'm sure she gets support that way too. However, showing them the house and shit, her brother decides to, express his concerns when they go downstairs like, bitch, I get it. I think this is great and it's grandiose and it's beautiful. But, my concern is, can you afford this shit? And of course, Portia's explaining how, she's on her own right now and how proud she is of herself and how she doesn't want to be out the house from anybody else's foot but her own. So if she's going to get kicked out or she's going to be out on the street, it's going to be because it's her fault, not because some man put her ass out. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's her justification for wanting this big ass house that she may or may not be able to afford. Again, I haven't heard nothing saying she has been late on rent, Kenya Moore. So let's pray, let's hope that it's cool in the gang. And the bitch was proud of herself. Her little ass was like, I'm a big girl now. So Cynthia and Mallory are together at, the facility that Peter done bought, okay? And her little place, her little modeling studio or whatever. So she's showing her around. Showing her the facility, showing her the building and all that kind of shit, whatever was. She hasn't seen her in a while. Now it's established based on this little scene right here. She hasn't seen her in a year or some shit, right? So she's walking her around the place and showing her around. And Mallory's, looking around like, you already know she got the judging eye out. She's been trying to fish for information and shit. And Cynthia's stupid ass just walked right up in the motherfucker and gave her whatever the fuck she wanted in this scene. Because let me tell you, when the bitch walked into the garage or wherever the fuck, Peter had his car parked, Cynthia decided to go ahead and let her ass know that, Peter done bought the car. That was a gift to himself and that she didn't know shit about him having purchased that damn car when he decided to go ahead and purchase it. So you already know, like I said, Mallory's ass was chomping at the bit just waiting for that information to come out. So Peter comes in, walking in with the slow bop, because he ain't really excited about seeing Mallory's ass. He walked in like, hey, Mallory, and gave her a straight up dap like a nigga, okay? Like, yeah, nigga, what up? So they go ahead and start chit-chatting, because Cynthia's now trying to break it to Peter that Mallory is going to be staying with them for 2 whole months. So Peter's ass is like, oh, hell no, bitch. This ain't the time nor the place for you to tell me this right now. You decided to tell me this now and not earlier. When did you fucking know about this shit? Of course, Cynthia's ass is like, I didn't know. I had no idea. She done told me just now, so I'm letting you know as she has told me. So here goes Mallory's ass all of a sudden trying to interject, talking about some, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, that she didn't talk to you about it because obviously you didn't tell her about the car you bought. Y'all know Cynthia's ass was dumb as fuck for telling her that shit. And I get it, they're sisters. Shit, I get it. You want to be able to confide in someone, but you know damn well Mallory don't like Peter's ass or nothing that y'all have anything to do with each other. So why feed into whatever the fuck is going on? Don't tell her shit. You don't want her to get involved? Don't tell her shit. You already know Mallory's waiting for that shit. So of course she brings it up, and Peter's like, motherfucker, that ain't got shit to do with you, right? Now y'all gonna have to let me know what y'all think about that scenario down below. Y'all know Peter's wrong for going and buying shit and not letting her know shit. The hell, that damn building he done rented or bought or whatever the fuck, and didn't tell her shit about it. Now it's the car that we done found out he done bought and didn't say shit about. But my thing is, now that Mallory's pointed that shit out, he gonna say, ain't got nothing to do with you. Okay, but this conversation right here is something you have a conversation with your husband about in private, right? So y'all gonna have to let me know about that shit down below. But now Cynthia's gonna be like, she gonna have the nerve, okay, to tell her sister to shut up after you done fed her the information she's using to have your back, okay? And then on top of that shit, here goes Peter talking about some, yeah, like I said, we gonna see about that shit. The nigga walked out like, bitch, I wish you would stay with my black ass for 2 months. Y'all, that little scene was so fucking funny. Peter was like, yeah, y'all niggas is funny, okay? He walked out like, y'all niggas is straight funny. Ha ha, motherfucker. Ha ha. So I guess the day that Portia showed her mama and the rest of the family at the house, it was moving day 2. So in the same scene, I guess, she had her mover start moving her shit in the house, and as she's sitting there getting her shit moved in the house, because there's really nothing else to talk about in the damn scene, is the fact that she done told her family that she had a conversation with Cordell, and according to her, the conversation didn't really go as she really wanted it to, for real, because she wanted to get some sense of closure or whatever. So she just basically called him just to kind of talk about them and us or whatever the fuck. And it turns out that she said somehow, somewhere, thrown into the conversation, sprinkled within, okay, that Cordell said he didn't want the divorce. But that also, in the midst of that conversation, he also expressed the fact that she got pretty much 2 options, okay, which is pretty much how she got kicked out the house in the first damn place. Either you live here, you just ride it out, and this is what we do, and you do what we do here, or you just fend for yourself and you get the fuck out. And that's basically what it boils down to. Now that's basically the ultimatum that she done told everybody he done gave her, which is what got her ass out the house to begin with, which is what her family was trying to remind her of, like, duh, girl, you know damn well that was the reason why your ass was homeless, because he done put you on the street, because he gave you that ultimatum to begin with, and you need to make sure you remember that shit, right? So that's basically the gist of the scene. She done decided and said that she wants to go ahead and go through with the divorce. She got her mock trial coming up or whatever the fuck. So we move on. Y'all know I'm waiting for the scene of all scenes, right? Y'all know I am waiting for Chuck to go ahead and go in on these 2 motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You know it's on the tip of his motherfucking tongue to go ahead and let Phaedra know what's good. But okay, we at the school now. They just prolonging the fuck out of that damn scene. How many times did it show that they were in Athens? How many scenes do they have with the 3 of them motherfuckers getting ready to do their little speeches or whatever the fuck? Anyway, they're in Athens now, and officially at the Athens school that they done went to, and you know they're playing basketball. They just stretching the shit out, playing basketball. They went to the Boys and Girls, not the school, but the Boys and Girls Club. My bad. Went to the Boys and Girls Club. You know they doing whatever. You know playing tetherball, whatever the fuck the little things are that you play with. You know, and you know they playing basketball in their Louboutins and whatever their heelless shoes and shit. You know talking about how her and Phaedra done bonded now, that they had a good old time up in Athens and shit. And now it's speech time, right? Now I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, like I'm happy that they done got together to do this whole thing, to go back to Athens to speak to the boys and the girls of Athens. However, I'm not gonna sit here and lie when I hope that it was Bravo that uncut their speeches, because I just felt like You know, all three of them motherfuckers just sounded so motherfucking cliche and so damn simple. Them motherfuckers was like, live the dream. Be what you want to be. Fight the good fight. Reach for the stars. You can have whatever you want. Then Nene gonna act like she done did some shit and be like, boom. I was like, boom your ass out the damn room, bitch. Y'all didn't say nothing. So finally the part my black ass has been waiting for. Y'all know, I've been saying Chuck's had something on his mind, okay? I know Monique didn't go home and let the nigga get away with the fact that them bitches already done said that, you know, they done dated him or whatever the fuck, took him home to mama and did whatever the fuck. So they're on the way back home from Athens, okay? Or at least seemingly so. And, you know, Nene, Phaedra, and Chuck in the car. Now, my thing is, you gonna wait till you on the way home to talk about this shit, but I guess that's what he chose to do. So they all are high on life because they done gave the best speeches of their lives, okay, to these young children. And Chuck feels like letting them know he wants to talk to, you know, Phaedra about something. When he said, Phaedra, I've been meaning to talk to you about something, I was like, oh, shit, bitch. He about to try to call your ass out. And he all trying to call your ass out in an enclosed space where you can't escape that shit. He proceeds to let her know that when he got back, you know, when Monique got back from Savannah, that Monique was a little pissed off because whatever the fuck he done told Monique about his past with them two girls, they done said the opposite shit, that they were supposedly boyfriend, girlfriend, especially with Phaedra. You know, he wanted to make sure to talk to her about that shit. I find it funny. He wanted to talk specifically to Phaedra and not necessarily to Candy or whatever, but he got her ass too later on. But he felt like letting her know, look, Monique was mad at me because you done told her that we were boyfriend and girlfriend, so I just want to know how the conversation got brought up. So she's trying to let him know, okay, at this point, like, I didn't really go into all of this was a boyfriend, girlfriend type of situation, but it wasn't me that brought the shit up in the first place. Your wife did. She's the one who brought it up, and I just simply stated that, you know, we had dated, that we had some dealings in the past. This is exactly what Phaedra said, okay? Now, me, if I was in that situation, or anybody for that matter, and you on national TV, and you don't know that this motherfucker's gonna sit here and bring that shit up out the clear blue sky. I mean, Phaedra did walk in on that conversation after Candy done threw her under the damn bus. I'm not gonna lie, you on national TV. You don't really want to put their business out on the street, not yours either. So you gonna make it as light and fluffy as possible. But to be completely honest, Phaedra didn't make it seem like Candy did. Now, Candy made it seem like them motherfuckers were courting, like they were finna get engaged and shit because her mama was making food and shit for that nigga, okay? That he was paying for, you know, car notes and credit cards and shit while she was on a come up. Phaedra didn't make it, to me, sound as though it was really that deep. So the fact that he's cornering Phaedra in a, you know what I'm saying, putting baby in a corner, I'm like, nigga, you should have done that shit with Candy, because Candy was the one that made it seem like y'all ass was damn near married. Then this motherfucker gonna be like, now you know damn well we didn't do not damn bit of dating in 8th and 9th grade, nor do we get together later on and date again. And I'm sitting here like, okay. And then this nigga gonna be like, I was everybody's big homie. And when he said that shit, I damn near choked on my damn drink. I was like, this nigga's really trying to make it sound like after all these motherfucking years that his ass was a motherfucking pimp and try to put you on Front Street. Now my thing is, Phaedra and Candy's conversation were two completely different conversations. Y'all know Phaedra walked in on the conversation, so she was just trying to pacify the shit. And look, at the end of the day, anybody would have tried to protect their, you know, reputation if they were put on the spot like that, walking in on a damn conversation. But I know damn well when she was trying to talk, she didn't make it seem like Chuck was a dickwad. You know what I'm saying? She could have totally made this dude sound like an asshole if she really truly wanted to, and she didn't. She was just like, look, we dated in the past, you know, it was 8th, 9th grade. I'm trying to make that a past type of thick situation. Ain't nothing going on. She tried to push the shit off like, ain't no big deal, don't worry about it. It wasn't serious. We were kids back then, yada yada. And now here Chuck in the middle of the damn car, cornering old girl, trying to make it sound as though she was a fucking hoe in one of his 18 million side pieces. That's some stupid ass bitch ass shit, right? Then this nigga's gonna say, let's just keep it all the way funky, okay? Your ass was on the come up and I was that nigga, okay? And we were the first version of Friends of Benefits, girl. I was like, okay, see, you crossing the line now. This motherfucker is a wife, a mother. I'm sorry. Y'all know I think Phaedra's extra as fuck. But the reality is to do this type of shit, and maybe I'm just super sensitive because I almost feel like, damn, the nigga cornered her ass in the car. Maybe if you'd have done that shit like at the lunch table when she could have had a little bit of, you know, breathing room, but you went ahead and said that shit in the car where she can't even escape the shit. You got her in the back seat and you trying to clown her ass and shit, and this bitch is married, has kids and all that kind of shit, and this shit's gonna be on television. And again, I say she didn't make him sound so bad when she was trying to, you know, fend for herself when Monique tried to bring that conversation up at the table to begin with, and you gonna try to make it seem like she's just one of them many hoes you was fucking back then. And even if it was the case, damn nigga, you could have laid off on her a little bit. She didn't attack you, she didn't make you sound bad, and if anybody should have gotten their ass chewed out for what they made it seem as though y'all would like, it should have been Candy. And I'm not saying he should still do it, because I mean, shit, this nigga's talking about this shit years later, but you know what I'm saying. Y'all get the drift. Now, you know at this point, Faye just not feeling it, and you know she's embarrassed, and then she's, of course, like I said, cornered in the damn car. So she's like, you know, don't make it sound like I'm no damn hoe, basically. She said hoochie mama, but you know, she was like, don't make me sound like some damn hoe. And he's like, dude, I'm not saying you a hoe. And then next thing you know, he gonna say, but you were part of the team. You were one of the many bitches I was fucking. I mean, come on, really? For real, for real? She was one of your hoes, is basically what you were trying to say, okay? So they still go back and forth or whatever, and she's trying to debate the fact that, you know, she done showed up in a couple of games that she calls and considers dates or whatever, and he gonna try to make it seem as though, well shit, you were one of the 7 or 8 bitches that I had at these damn games waiting for my motherfucking ass. I was like, this nigga is for real cold as fuck. Then he's like, if you want to understand, you know, the lifestyle of a young millionaire at that time, understand that y'all was part of a team, man. I was like, this bitch ass nigga, like, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't agree with however the fuck he decided to do this shit. I mean, look, like I said, I don't feel the conversation that was had with Monique was that bad. Obviously, Monique was the one who brought the shit up. She asked for the shit. And so whatever the fuck she done came back and communicated to Chuck, I don't know what the fuck. Either way, I don't feel like this was even fair. And I mean, y'all gonna have to let me know down below. I don't feel like he should have clowned on Phaedra like that, considering she didn't do the same to him, and considering the fact that she's got a family, she's a lawyer, she's got other shit going on. I'm just saying, look, that shit was fucked up. And you sitting here riding your own nutsack, sucking your own dick, trying to clown on her ass. And she's like, dude, I'm not even tripping on your ass for real, for real. You could have been just said, look, we were friends with benefits and kept it the fuck pushing, but instead, you making it sound like both these bitches were on your ass and you gonna throw Candy in there too. What cracked my stuff up about the situation, and I know part of it's embarrassment on Phaedra's part, because I mean, shit, what the fuck do you have to say? She didn't argue the fact that they done had sex. She didn't argue the fact that it wasn't exactly as deep as what, you know, she might have made it sound as though it was, you know, dating or whatever the fuck. But, you know, the fact that she tried to turn that shit around and make it seem as though he was hating, okay? Because she done became somebody that he didn't think she would become. I was like, girl, just take the L. Just concede, girl. Like, it's done. Like, all that, nobody listening to that shit. Y'all gonna have to let me know what y'all think of that shit down below. On some real shit, you know, between Phaedra and Candy, and when that conversation went down, when Monique asked all that shit, you know, even if they exaggerated, obviously it sounds as though they did exaggerate the truth about whatever the fuck was going on between each other and Chuck. Really, reality is, most normal people would have at least tried to save face. They're not gonna sit there and be like,
yeah, you know, we was fucking, nigga. Shit, I was sucking his dick and we was just fucking.
They're not gonna do that. I mean, they're gonna at least make it sound as though, you know, there was a little bit of substance to whatever the fuck, because shit, it was back in the day, number one. Number two, both of them are in committed relationship at this point. They're mothers, they have careers. The last thing you want is for everybody to know all your personal business from the past. So whatever they're trying to do, they're trying to save face either way. So you can't blame them for that. And I don't think, you know, I don't know about Candy's situation, because she done told all kinds of extra stuff. But Phaedra, like I said, just based on what I remember, didn't sound so bad the way she made it sound. But for Chuck to have gone to this level, I'm just like, I don't really feel like that was fair. Especially the shit that he was saying. Like, he made it seem like they was some straight up hoes, okay? So last but not least, we've got Peter and Cynthia, who I guess Peter's doing some kind of bills or whatever for bar one, and they sit down and have conversation because Cynthia's obviously upset, Peter's obviously upset, and of course, rightfully so, a little upset that the sister-in-law, I guess for him, that can't stand his ass is finna stay at their house for 2 whole months, and he didn't know shit about it. Now, look, this is a fine line here, right? Because you already know Peter does a lot of shit without telling Cynthia. So the first thing I'm thinking to myself is like, nigga, you can't really get upset with me because you make a lot of very large decisions without letting my motherfucking ass know. And we're married, so whatever you do financially affects me financially, regardless of whether I sign on the dotted line or not, since we're both married, right? So this nigga had the nerve to be like, oh, well, when were you gonna tell me about, you know, your sister moving in for that long before she goes to meet up with her husband or whatever? And of course, Cynthia goes into the fact that, you know, that she's not happy right now, that things haven't been going right, you know, they haven't been fucking, and Peter's like, yeah, you haven't been fucking, and they go back and forth about past shit, and I mean, eventually it got heated, and Cynthia, of course, expressed the fact that she's not exactly excited about what's coming up because she's afraid that they might go back to where they were 2 years ago, financially speaking, romantically speaking. She also expressed the fact that she, wasn't ever really depressed until she came into contact with Peter in the sense of in a relationship. So, I mean, a lot of resentment going on between the both of them. And of course, it's not going to help if her sister stays there for 2 damn months. Personally, I really want to know what you guys think about that. I know for a fact, that's her sister and that's family. But my thing is, if that's going to be your relationship, if you chose to stay with that man, I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's probably not the best idea for your sister to stay there for 2 months. Just saying. I mean, you obviously know, especially, I'm talking about in that particular instance, because her sister obviously doesn't like Peter and has caused a lot of duress between between the two of them in their relationship or whatever, and is proven to be a little suspect with regard to supporting or whatever the case. Y'all already know, right? So I don't necessarily know if I would agree, if I was in Cynthia's position, to necessarily bring my sister in so that she could see all the background and shit. If you don't want her in your business, having her in your house isn't going to help. However, I'm also looking at the other side of the picture and saying, number one, that's your sister, so you don't want her ass out on the street. And number two, you can't sit here and get upset with me, Peter, okay, for not telling you, because I didn't know, but either way, not running it by you to see if it was okay when your ass is buying buildings or renting buildings or whatever the fuck and buying Mercedes-Benzes and not letting me know about that shit too. So they just have a lot of shit going on, a lot of shit. There's a lot of resentment going on, and he ended up walking away, cussing her ass out pretty much, cussing, and walking the fuck away. So anyway, y'all gonna have to let me know what y'all think of this episode. There was a lot going on to the point where I'm damn near losing my damn voice. But anyway, as always, you guys know, next week we're gonna recap this reality show yet again. Another thing I want to let y'all know is that I'm looking for other shows to recap, because eventually these couple of shows, Love and Hip Hop, which I know I haven't recapped in a while, but Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, all of those are going to be going away very shortly. So y'all have to let me know down below what other shows you guys want me to recap. There's a few shows I'm looking at starting to watch right now. One just started, Blood, Sweat, and Heels, okay? And I'm very curious to see how that is, so you'll have to let me know if that's something that you think is recapable, okay? Let me know if it's something you guys want to see. If there's any other shows you guys would like me to recap, let me know down below. I definitely want to know. And thumbs up this video if you love seeing these recaps from your girl. And y'all already know what to do. As always, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/SocialiteSandy. Hit me up on my Facebook fan page or my Pinterest page. Those links are down below. Hit me up on my blog, TheSocialiteLife.blogspot.com, and on Instagram @SocialiteSandy. And y'all already know I love y'all. And I will see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye. Sandy, and yeah, y'all, happy motherfucking New Year, y'all. I know I've had a couple videos that have come out since the New Year, but I thought I would officially say happy.